Once again, welcome to Jack Slayter Notes and like, share, and subscribe to this channel for any educational purposes related to any sort of competitive exam and all things. And yes, for paid PDF, Jack Slayter Notes, MCQ, and discussions on social studies and social science for CTET specially, and for Atet, GT, and PGT, and other teaching exam. These are important questions. These are basic sometimes, and all those they come in competitive exam, all sorts of competitive exams, so 30 MCQs with some elaborate notes and discussion. And this one is set 6. We already have set 5 till 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the channel. So, check them out. Question number 1. Which of the following statement is true about democratic government? Government has the power to make decision but not to enforce its decision. If they have the power to make decision and if they cannot enforce it, then what's the point? Without laws, the government power to make decision is not much. This one is true because without laws, the government's power to make decision is not much use, right? If the government has power and they can make law, then there's no much use. So that is the correct answer. In representative government, people do participate directly. No, we choose representatives and they participate for us. In a democratic government, few adults are allowed to vote. Not really. So only B is the correct answer. Without laws, the government's power to make decision is not of much use. Question number 2. Read the following statement on democracy in India. A democracy must be based on free and fair election. That is true. In a democracy, decision making power must rest with those elected by the people. Yes, both A and B are correct. Yes. So the answer is C. Both A and B are correct. Question number 3. Nepal witnessed which kind of transformation in 2008? So this is a factual question. They were used to be monarch, then they turned into democracy around 2008. So the answer is from monarchy to democracy. Question number 4. Identify the areas from those given below which have notable cultural influence of Arab and Chinese traders in the past. So that should be Kerala and Ladakh because both of them are traders sections of cultural impact that happened due to the multi international businesses and pilgrims and all sorts of things. So Kerala and Ladakh is your answer. Question number 5. An important mechanism during the parliament session by which the MPs elicit information about the working of the government and keep a check over the executive is known as what? So what happened is there's a you know mechanism sort of thing that happen in parliamentary session, right? And in that there are all sorts of you know sessions happen and parliament, but i- you know in one of them or two of them or three of them, where the MPs, the member of parliaments, elicit information about the working of the government and keep a check, means ask them what they are doing with, as we give them power, as we give them represent what they are doing with it and all sorts of things. So Haiti is known as what? He is known as 0 hour, question hour, or calling attention motion, or walk out from the house. Walk out from the house is different thing. So answer is ABC. Yes, ABC. Yes. So 0 hour it's when the question hour is questioning. 0 hour is at the start of those, and calling attention motion. Both A, B, and C are what? They are mechanism during parliament session by which the MPs elicit information about the working of the government and keep a check over the executive. You have to keep them in check. We give them our power, so we have to do all those things. Question number 6. Which of the following provisions in the constitution are recognition of equality? Every person is equal before law. That is correct. Untouchability, untouchability has been abolished. Yes. Every person has access to all public places. Sure. No person can be discriminated against on the basis of their religion, caste, sex, place, or birth. or place of birth. So, you know, practically A, B, C, D all are correct, yes, but theoretically it's not. If you see, you know, when the answer like that, you have to be good and say A, B, C, D, but really every people is equal below. If you see the reality of the situation, groundwork, untouchability, in both four of them, yes, people are, but the constitutional recognition is what, equality of constitutional recognition is every person is equal below, untouchability has been abolished, every person has access to all public places, true, or no person can be discriminated. But these four things are most happening in this. But is any of those really working? I highly doubt that. I highly doubt that because people are nowadays, filled with angers, hatred, and all sorts of things. But our constitution recognizes equality as these four. Question number 7. Which among the following statement is not true about democracy in India? India is representative democracy. That is true. Question asked for which one is not true. Some Indian has the right to vote during rotation day. That is also correct. There were some rich Indian, they used to, they have the right to vote. That is correct. India adopted universal adult franchise is the first general election. Yes, there is direct participation of people in the government and decision making. So the answer is D. There is no direct participation. We choose our representatives and they make the laws and everything for us. Question number 8. Read the statement A and R and choose the appropriate option. Statement: Kerala and Ladakh have different geographical features, but their history has witnessed similar cultural influences. That is true. History and geography are often tied in the cultural life of the region. Both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A because, as you can see, history and geography, geography of the place and the history has interlinked because that's how the culture forms. And Ladakh and Kerala have different geographical feature, but their history with similar cultural influence. That's the Arab traders and other, pilgrimage and all sorts of things. Question number 9. People in Kerala practice different religion. What could be the reason for diversity of religious practice? Consider the two statements given below and choose the correct answer. Jewish and Arab traders came to trade in spices and brought Judaism and Islam to the people there. That is correct. Saint Thomas came nearly 2000 years ago and brought Christianity to the people. So both of them are actually true. Uh, both A and B are true and are valid reason. Yes, both of them are valid reason because, people in color. And what could be the reason? Reason is Jewish and Arab traders and Saint Thomas, that is Christianity. Question number 10. I live in a Muslim dominated area. My brother and I have gone for an iftar party in the neighborhood and were dressed in traditional clothes, that is sherwani and salwar kameez respectively. Later, we changed our clothes to jeans and t-shirt. How do you view this narrative of a girl? Clothes can be seen as a marker for identity. That is true. We may be prejudiced for clothes we wear. That, you know maybe clothes should be worn for comfort and as per occasion. So, how do you view this narrative of a girl? Well, narrative of a girl. If I have to view this, then clothes can be seen as a marker of identity. Sure. Clothes should be worn for comfort and as per occasion. That is also sure. So answer is A and C. Yes, B. We may be prejudiced for the clothes. We may not be prejudiced. We may be stereotyped. But prejudice is a certain community hate. It's a different thing. Oh yes, prejudice. Here is your obvious answer. Prejudice would mean judging people negatively, seeing some people as inferior, fixing people into one image, that is stereotype. So the answer is A and B. Yes, answer is judging people negatively and seeing someone as inferior. So your answer is A and B. The C one is fixing people into one image. That's called stereotype. Question number 12. What was Darul Shafa established by Firuz Taghlaq? So Darul Shafa was free hospital, not almshouse or library or guest house or pilgrims. It's a free hospital. For the treatment of patient, Firuz Shah Tughlaq established Darul Shafa or Khairati Clinic in Delhi. He is known to have established four new towns: Firuzabad, Fatehabad actually, Jaunpur and Hissar. He established a department of slave known as Diwani Bandegan. He established an office for poor and deprived individuals called Diwani Khairat, and he also wrote his autobiography called Futuhat-e-Firuz Shahi. Anyway, question number 13. Under which of the following systems sheikhs offered protection to cultivators on the payment of a tax of 20% of the produce? Jata, Khalsa, Chaut or Raki? Answer is Raki, because Raki is a system that offer protection to cultivator on the payment of tax of 20% of the produce. Khalsa gave resistance to the Mughal governors first and then to Ahmed Shah Abdali, who had seized the rich province of Punjab and the Sarkar of Sirhind from the Mughals. Question number 14. In the Panchayat Raj system, the worker of the government is approved by who? Janpad Panchayat, Jila Parishad, Panchayat Samiti or Gram Sabha? Answer is Gram Sabha. Because Gram Sabha, clear approved this work of Gram Panchayat. That is their work. Question number. Then comes twofold objective of fundamental rights according to B.R. Ambedkar. What are they? Every citizen must be in a position to claim those rights. Yes. It must be binding upon every authority to go to the power to it must be binding upon every authority that got the power to make laws. Okay, to serve as a guide to the independent Indian states to ensure greater social and economic reforms. So twofold objective must be A and B. I think yes, A and B, because every citizen must be in a position to claim those power. That is fundamental rights. It must be binding upon every authority that got the power to make laws. That is correct. Question number 16. Read the statement A and R and choose the correct option. Assertion. As a child, B.R. Ambedkar experienced caste prejudice in his daily life. That is 100% true. Father of B.R. Ambedkar taught at an army school. I think he was uh, cook or he teach. I don't know. Well, no. Assertion says as a child is true, but because father of B.R. Ambedkar taught at an army school, no, that is not true. Not because of the caste system he experienced prejudice, not because his father taught at an army school. So A is true and R is true, but it's not the correct explanation. Yes, both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation. Yes. Question number 17. Which of the following statement is true? Panch is also known as ward member under Panchayat Raj. Yeah. All members of Gram Sabha elect a Panchayat president. Sure. The Gram Sabha is a meeting of all adults who live in an area covered by Panchayat. The answer is A, B, and C. All are correct. What is Well, it's just ask for which statement is true. Panch is also known as ward member under Panchayat area. Yes. All the members of Gram Sabha elect Panchayat president. Yes. The Gram Sabha is a meeting of all adults. Yes. All three are true. Question number 18. Which of the following, what is the function of a Lekpal in rural administrative structure? Measuring land and keeping land records. Okay. Making arrangement for irrigation. Not really. Irrigation is not the work of, it's the work of irrigation. Managing the funds, not really. So the answer is measuring land and keeping land records. Question number 19. In different talukas of various district, land disputes are largely taken care of by Tehsildar. Yes, not district collector or patwari or Gampajan. In different talukas, you just have to, where you are see taluka, you just mix it with Tehsildar. TET for various land is largely taken care of by who? Tehsildar. That is your answer. Question number 20. In what way the amendment in Hindu Succession Act in the year 2005 benefits women? It provides women with equal share in the parents' property. It provides more property share to daughters in comparison, so no. It provides women with equal share in the parents' property. That is your answer. Rest are not, because Hindu Succession Act actually talked about only that. It provides women with equal share in their parents' properties. That is your answer. Question number 21. Territorial constitution is created for the purpose of municipal election are known as, well, municipal election, territorial constituency are wards. You know, whoever lives in town, they have wards. We have what? gram villages. Question number 22. Consider the following statement A, B, and C. What is the B square? Not B to the power of square. It's an error. Tawamatsya Sangh was formed against building the Tawa Dam, or Tawamatsya Sangh was formed for protecting the rights of forest dweller of Madhya Pradesh to continue fishing at dam for their livelihood, or Tawamatsya Sangh provides a loan to the fisher. Tawamatsya Sangh provides loan to the fish worker. That is correct. So C is correct. Wherever there is C. Okay. So option A and B are out. So we have C and D. So all are true, or I don't think they are against. Maybe the answer is B and C. Yes, I get it now. I know they did not formed against building Tadam. They were just formed for protecting the rights of forest dweller of Madhya Pradesh to continue fishing at the dam. They fight for the fact that they have to be given right to fish in that dam, and they provide small loan to the fish worker. Those things. Yes, B and C are true. Question number 23. Which of the following subject would come under the state list? The decision to maintain trade relations with Sri Lanka, that is state list or union list or central list. The introduction of a new 100 room state list or what? Not really. The decision to introduce midday meal in primary, that is a state list. The decision to provide electricity to farmers, that is a state list. So the answer is C and D. Question number 24. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white man in a bus. This was commencement of which great movement in America? Wait a second. This was a acha. Rosa Parks refused to give up her seat to a white man in a bus. This was the commencement of which great movement in civil rights movement in United States of America, or anti-apartheid movement in South Africa, or French Revolution in France, or women's suffrage movement in England. So the answer has to be civil rights movements in United States of America. Then Martin Luther King came, and everything happens from there. There is a great movie about Rosa Parks in Hollywood. They made them. I think Rosa Parks played by someone, I forget her name, but yeah, civil rights movement in United States happened because of Rosa Parks refusing to give up a seat for white men. Consider the following statement. Costa Rica is considered to be the one of the healthiest country in the Central America. Instead of spending money on arming, Costa Rican government decided to spend on safe drinking water, sanitation, and nutrition. Yes, because they spend their money of safe drinking and nutrition, they are healthier. So both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Yes, because they use those money in health and nutrition. Question number 26. Which among the following is in a state is appointed by the central government? We all know that. That is governor. He is appointed by the central government directly. So the answer is governor. Question number 27. An area from where voters choose their an area. What am I saying? Era. An area from where voters choose their MLA is called what? It's constituency, obviously. Answer is constituency. Question number 28. A teacher is discussing gender roles in her class. Which of the following example could be employed to talk about breaking stereotype? Lakshmi Lakra became the first woman engine driver of North Railways. Yes, that works. Javier feels the pressure to score high to get a not really. Rakia Ocean writes a story about women flying planes. And C are most appropriate in this case. Yes, and C is your answer. Question number 29. Why was 19th century social reformer and women rights activist Ramabai given the title Pandita? Now, that is a funny one actually. She could read and write Sanskrit, and that's why they used to call her Pandita Ramabai. She married to Brahmin? No. She became a priest? No. She has a women education? Not really. She could read and write Sanskrit. That's why she is to call Pandit Ramabai. And the last one, to discuss on women's education in colonial India, students could refer to the following autobiography: Rokia Shakawat, Hussein Sultana's Dream. That is actually not colonial women education or anything. Sultan, actually, wait a second. Women's Dream. Oh, To discuss on women's education in colonial India, student could refer to the following autobiography. Rajsundari Jibi's Amar Jivan. That is actually an autobiography. That Rakia Shakawat Hussain Sultana's Dream is not an autobiography. Sattana Manimekla, not really. That was old time. Chalukya Chalachara Pandya, those times. Tarabai Shinde's Tripurush Tulana is women empowerment or questioning society, those type of. But Raj Sundari Devi's Amar Jivan is an autobiography. Raj Sundari Devi wrote Amar Jivan, My Life, which is regarded as the first autobiography written by an Indian woman. In it, she describes the social restriction on women and her struggle to acquire literacy in colonial India. Therefore, it is an important source for discussing women's education in colonial India. Why the others are correct, incorrect? Because Sultana's Dream by Ruqya Shakhawat Hussain is a fictional work, not an autobiography. Manimekla is an ancient Tamil Buddhist epic unrelated to colonial women education. Of course, Tripuru's Tulana by Tarabai Shinde is a feminist critic, like I said, women empowerment, feminist critic of patriarchy, not autobiography. So we did that a bit early and get back with more 30 MCQs and some elaborate notes. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Check later notes. Study hard, work smart. Goodbye and have a nice day.